Other news worth your attention today. The High Court in Bloemfontein expected to deliver judgment on Dr. Louis Siemens' murder case. Now, Dr. Siemens was gunned down in the basement of a parking lot at Preller Square in May of 2018. The accused in the matter remained in custody while some were out on bail. To get your sense of what else we know, bring in our reporter, Aphumelele Mdlalane, who's been watching developments for us. She joins us from just by court, and it's been more than half a decade since this crime was committed. Aphumelele, get us in on what we know so far around what took place and why it's taken so long.
Well, Ayanda, what we know so far, like you have indicated, is that some accused remain in custody. And we must remember that initially there were 8 of them that were arrested. And it rolled down to such an extent that one charges against him he was acquitted, whereas one also who was in custody died while he was in custody. That is Molebatsi Mogeora, who was the police detective, but we also know that in custody we have Stanley Bakili, who was the mastermind to the slaying of the doctor, and we also have Karabo, the disbarred attorney, Sizwe Mpati, the former IT, Clive Chivenga, the former SANDF, and Stanley Bakili, we know that is the one who was arrested on the day of the slaying of the doctor. This incident happened in 2018, Ayanda, at a Preller Square basement, where we also had in court during the trial the convicted murderer of Dr. Louis Siemens, who turned into state witness in Mdlalane, who is convicted for 22 years, who turned state witness. He did mention that, yes, he was hired to kill Dr. Louis Siemens, and has come out to say he was never paid the 250,000 rands that he was promised then. Hence, he turned a state witness. But during a trial, we also saw state witnesses, including the former officials of the Department of Health then from the Free State, as well as the then Minister of Health, which was Dr. Mdlalane, who was also part of those that were giving testimony. But we know that the bone of contention of this case is that it was because Dr. Louis Siemens wanted an expansion of his CityMed Day Hospital. He wanted the hospital to have more beds, but now we are here at this very same court where the judgment was supposed to be delivered. But we had a word from the prosecutor this morning, Johann Denison, who is a prosecutor for this case, saying that he has received a message from the office of the judge saying that this matter will rather be remanded to next week. There are finer details that needs to be taken care of. That would mean now, Ayanda, that when we go inside court, we're just going for formality, where we're expecting this case to be remanded. However, we managed to meet some of the accused that are still on the outside, saying that this case has dragged for quite too long, and they are quite disappointed that today, when they're supposed to know whether they are free or not, and therefore it's again being postponed. But we know this is one of those cases that gained traction, where people were asking themselves what really occurred, where we also saw the letter that turned as evidence from Kagiso, saying that he's receiving threats, death threats inside prison, where also he was implicating the then Premier of the Free State as Ace Mahashule. And some of the evidence that was played during the trial is that of the scene, and also the evidence of where these accused used to meet at a casino here in Bloemfontein. So those are some of the issues, of course, that brought forward and gave the strength to this case. But today, of course, we are expecting that judgment that is now expected to be delivered sometime next week.
All right, Aphumelele Mdlalane, thanks very much indeed. We'll certainly keep watching that story with you as it continues to unfold. Aphumelele is live to us from just outside the High Court in Bloemfontein.